While being snapped by paparazzi outside a restaurant, Chappell Roan pulled her phone out to make a point about the harassment and disrespect of boundaries. Again, there was even a fan asking for an autograph who then got her phone shoved in his face and told to go away. As someone who has been on Chappell's side for 90% of her controversies, I have mixed feelings about this one. Fame may not be for you, Chappell.
Disregarded as a human. This is what it's like. So I'm just trying to go to dinner, and I've asked these people several times to get away from me.
Please step to the side. Step to the side.
This person I've asked several times to go away, and they will not. They're hiding their face because they're ashamed. Because I've asked them. These are all the people that are completely disregarding all of my boundaries. So this is, then go away. So all of you, I'm asking you kindly to please leave me alone and stop following me.
Can you give us something nice? What are you wearing? Okay, no problem. You have your choice, yeah.
If you're wondering how it is.
And what are you wearing?
We are going to pick apart this video and the responses to it. As you can imagine, people are once again crying and moaning and calling her the devil. I absolutely have to point out, but when Justin Bieber implies threats of violence to paparazzi, we feel bad for him. He's so right. He was right, to be clear, but conveniently only men are allowed to lash out. But honestly, he's gonna get the same. He should get the same advice that I have for Chappell at the end of the video, to be honest. Although there are parts to the backlash that I do agree with. Let's begin with this creator's video, who conveniently deleted my very civil comment about how they made good points, but ultimately fell into the entitlement Chappell originally complained about 2 years ago.
I feel so vindicated in my criticism, and may I say, I'm not going to say hate, my strong dislike for Chappell Roan after that video of her at Paris Fashion Week has been going viral. Almost a year ago, I made a video criticizing Chappell Roan in the aftermath of her going on Call Her Daddy and having that interview where she was bitching and complaining about how difficult it is to be a pop star and also stay politically informed. And why are people looking to her for the answer? Which literally no one ever said that they were looking to her for all the political answers and to solve the political crisis in this country. But she's whining about how difficult it is to stay politically informed and to tour and to eat healthy and to work out, and like as if the 99%, as if the rest of the population doesn't also have to figure out how to have work-life balance.
Immediately, we're referring to her with misogynistic language. I mean, it could write itself. But don't worry, my fingers were typing away. You can be a self-identified leftist and claim to be ex-evangelical and be female-presenting and even be on the path to unlearning all the BS. Interjecting to say that it's not only this creator who does this. I see this a lot when Chappell Roan, criticism is happening, and still have misogynistic takes. I want to be clear, I did see other creators who I agreed with on this, but even then they were still using misogynistic language. And again, men are allowed to lash out the way that Chappell is, but women can't, even from people who say that they're super progressive. So like, we all use the word bitch, right? It's inherently misogynistic. You may not like it, but that's objective. And not only the use of the word bitch, but this creator almost immediately came off as aggressive, which is the same thing all the Chappell Roan haters claim to hate about her, but I digress. Criticizing her for going on Call Her Daddy is valid, I think. I know people don't like Alex Cooper and Call Her Daddy. They say she's not a good interviewer. I enjoy the episodes, though I myself have a problem with the way she will happily discuss gender politics. But the moment the actual word politics comes up, she gets squeamish. As well as most of her guests are white or white passing, and I don't recall her ever talking about the intersection of race with sexism. So absolutely, in a time when you're facing white feminist accusations, going on the white feminist podcast isn't a great move. I have mixed feelings about the claim that it's so hard to work and remain informed. Just because everyone experiences that doesn't make it less true for her. I don't know if this creator made note in the past that it's a very out of touch thing to say when a pop star would likely have more freedom to open her phone and read for 5 minutes than someone at a 9-to-5 company that gets mad every time they have to pee and penalizes them for even looking at their phone. But I'm not gonna go back and check, and that isn't what they're saying here, so.
And people got a lot of flack for it. A lot of people who were like, I understand what you're talking, but a lot of people like got pushed back. And now here we are a year later with this video of her at Paris Fashion Week filming herself saying, this is what it's like. I told these people to leave me alone and they just won't answer. They just won't leave me alone. And this is just a little taste of what it's like to be me and what it's like to like not have paparazzi or fans in my face all the time. And I just found that video so fucking performative. And like, it's just, it's just so on brand for a white woman to complain about how hard it is to be a famous white woman when there are so many black women artists and brown women artists in...
Don't try to disguise the disdain and misogyny with empathy for BIPOC people. We aren't tokens you can spend to make a point.
Hollywood, in music and film, that have had to face such worse scrutiny and like such worse like public reception than Chappell Roan has.
Why does a woman's suffering have to increase to a level that you deem acceptable for her complaints? Holy shit. For her complaints and frustration to be valid. That's what I commented that ended up disappearing. Because other women have it objectively worse does not diminish another woman's bad experiences, girly pop. Please miss me with that.
A couple examples that came to mind was just recently, like Rihanna, a lady broke into her home with like, I think it was an AK-47 and literally tried to like kill her, right? My sympathy for Rihanna is like only goes so far because again, she's also part of like the billionaire class, so it's like that's a very traumatizing thing for her to have experienced. But I'm pretty sure there was a report that came out that showed that her practices for her Fenty clothing business was like worse than Shein. So I'm like, okay, horrific, but also billionaire, so it's like, my sympathy can only go so far. But another example is Megan Thee Stallion. This woman, Megan Thee Stallion, was literally shot in the foot and then had to go through a, like, I'm pretty sure it was like a couple years, 2 to 3 years long process of going to court, having to face the man who shot her. Not only that, but she had to face the court of public opinion. She got so much backlash from all sides, from people in her fan base, people in, I can't remember who it was, the name of the rapper that shot her, but like people in his fan base that were saying that she was faking it, that she's lying, that she's doing this for attention. She had to face scrutiny and criticism from like pop news sources. Like, there are black women artists and brown women artists that have had to deal with so much worse than Chappell Roan, and she hasn't even been in the mainstream industry, the mainstream spotlight for like for more than 5 years.
I mean, I ask again, why does Chappell Roan's life need to be threatened with a gun for people to deem her struggle justified? This is such a stupid argument. And the thing is, this creator is so close to getting the point. So close. Yet misses it because of a bias against Chappell Roan specifically. And I'll elaborate on that later. Remember this.
Less than 5 years, and she is acting like the kind of public reception, the paparazzi, the fame, like the people that are just swarming her is equivalent to like what Britney Spears had to go through.
She didn't say that. I saw another male creator say that a lot of people were bringing up Britney Spears comparisons. You're making that assumption. Until she herself compares her situation to the absolute tragedy of Britney Spears, you don't have a right to put those words in her mouth.
Just makes me, that video just really pissed me off. And what really also was like really sad to see is that there's a fan there who is like, has a French accent, and he's like, can you sign this, Chappell? Can you sign it? She's right next to him and she's like, no. Oh my, I cannot imagine being so egotistical and being like, me. Being like, me, it's all about me, that you can't even take 5 seconds. It literally would have taken her a fraction of time to sign that fan's picture or whatever, go into the restaurant, than the time that she spent to pull out her phone and take a video and be like, look how difficult it is to be me, guys.
I said in the comment that vanished, this is exactly where the entire video falls apart. You think celebrities are entitled to give their time and attention and space to fans.
And also that the harassment from fans and paparazzi alike is something that they should just suck up and deal with because they signed up for it, because that's the price of the money and the fame and the privilege. Now, while I'm already interjecting, I want to be clear, I do not think that this was an incident of harassment. There was like barely anyone there, and I say later in the video she went to a hotspot, so it's like, what do you think, girl? But this take specifically, and a lot of the takes surrounding whenever this happens with Chappell Roan, is rooted in, honestly, jealousy. Like, you get to live this life, so this is the sacrifice that you have to make, and you owe it to your fans.
It couldn't have been spelled out any more blatantly. You can't even take 5 seconds. They aren't obligated to. Whether you want to admit that or not, they are not obligated to. Whether they are being a sweetheart about it or disgustingly mean, they are not obligated to stop and pay attention to desperate fans. What is it gonna take to get that through some of your thick ass skulls? Here especially, I wanted to bring up something that Reddit comments were discussing that I hadn't considered before. Chappell isn't posting her location. Obviously, she hates this stuff. When she goes out to eat, like in the video that's gone viral, she isn't telling people where she's gonna be. So how would fans even know where she is? I saw some speculation that her team or publicist may be leaking it, but regardless, you could argue the paparazzi paint a trail like ants to rotten fruit. You could argue she was followed from the event I assume she just left. It is Paris Fashion Week after all, which also has people very upset because it's a very high profile event and the restaurant she went to is apparently a hot spot, so it's like, yeah, you're gonna get photographed, but we'll get into that later. We're still on the defending her part of the video, which leads me to ask you this: what kind of fan would follow someone to a private establishment? Someone potentially obsessed? Because casual fans are casual. They aren't going out of their way to follow people late at night or early in the morning to ask for a photo or an autograph. They just aren't. They may take the opportunity if it presents itself, sure. They don't try to force the opportunity. This creator says the fan may not have understood English, which is fair, but does he not understand facial expressions, body language, the reactions of the people around him? That was a tense environment. People went nearly silent when Chappell started ranting. She obviously did not look happy. It's real awkward to be in there. Also, he was speaking English when he asked her to sign. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he understands. No, go away. People with some sense were pointing out a fan wouldn't just ignore how upset the celebrity is and proceed to shove a picture in their face for an autograph. I haven't even touched on the fact he was asked to go away repeatedly and was still there desperately trying to get her to sign something. Who would be so desperate to get something signed by a famous person they would ignore being told to go away? Not a fan. Someone who wants to sell the autograph. And someone who wants to desperately make money off a celebrity would also track where they're gonna be so they can wait outside for them. Even if he genuinely was a fan, it is objectively weird to follow people around. How would these TikTok influencers with 500,000, 1 million followers who are still able to live as private citizens feel if randoms started popping up everywhere they go, following them, hounding them? How would you guys like to be essentially stalked? Yeah. Okay, bet the tune would change real quick. Moving on from this behavior.
So I'm just trying to go to dinner, and I've asked these people several times to get away from me.
Step to the side, step to the side.
This person I've asked several times to go away, and they will not. They're hiding their face because they're ashamed. Because I've asked them. These are all the people that are completely disregarding all of my boundaries. So this is, then go away. So
remember when Anne Hathaway was like, calma, calma, calma. I still use that to this day, by the way, when I need someone to chill the fuck out. Everyone gave her shit for it. They're like, oh, this is the insufferable Annie we know that needed to take a break. This is worse than that, right? That Frenchman, that guy, he didn't know what she was saying. He was like, oh, she wants to take a selfie. No. There are lines that paparazzi consistently cross. They can be safety hazards and they're terrifying, especially to women. So I get like wanting your space, wanting your privacy, but Roan just feels very ill-equipped for this life. Like she's the one that needs to chill the fuck out. Like calma, calma, Chappell. Calma.
I agree far more with this person. This take comes from a much more empathetic and understanding place, at least I think so. Now I can share my own critique because it does align with this creator's. I told you to remember the point in the video when I said I would elaborate on that white creator's failure to grasp the point they were running past. The creator we just watched, while still maintaining a dislike for Chappell, they were liking comments about hating her, walked directly into it and got it. The success is something Chappell sought out for like a decade, and after less than 5 years of having it, it is starting to become clear maybe she isn't cut out for it. Rather than call her a rude, abrasive bitch and telling her to suck it up and implying she doesn't get to bitch and whine until someone threatens her with a gun, we should be saying that Perhaps she needs to walk away from it. Paparazzi want money from you and nothing else. Trying to catch their behavior on camera to make them feel ashamed isn't gonna work. They do not care. I don't understand why Chappell doesn't understand that. You can't appeal to the humanity of people who don't see you as human. Going out of her way to engage like this, to fight back, to be equally as antagonistic is gonna go nowhere for her. She has the right to do so, but we should also acknowledge she's gonna drive herself crazy. They're getting money because she's lashing out, and that sells. That's just the reality that we live in. If it bothers you so much that we repeatedly get headlines about it, and you are simultaneously someone who cannot just step back and let it be and try your best to not let it get to you, this may not be the life for you. Fame and celebrity may not be for you, and that is okay. Since I specified Justin Bieber earlier, now that I'm saying it, I do think it would be harder for him to just step away from the spotlight and become a more normal person, because he is mega famous. Like, the legacy from the 2010s, like, he's always gonna be Justin Bieber. He's always gonna be the Justin Bieber. It's like if Taylor Swift decided she didn't want to be famous, which obviously would never happen. I don't think that would be possible. When you're mega famous, you're always gonna be famous. But Chappell is nowhere near that level yet, so she still has the chance to make a different decision if she wants to. But only Chappell can decide that for herself, of course. But it just doesn't seem like it makes her happy. Let me be clear. I don't really have any sympathy for fans who follow people around and demand pictures or autographs. But I will agree for a second that that guy is 100% a fan, and in his excitement, ignored the cues and requests to go away. Crazed fans do come with the territory. It sucks. It really does. But that's the truth. If you don't want to engage, don't stand out there filming yourself trying to make a point. Ignore them. Hurry inside. Flip them off to your heart's desire. I don't know. But remove yourself from the scene for your own peace of mind and sanity. Maybe stop doing high profile stuff for a while. Work on your craft. Release more music. Perform, build up the funds to get a really good security team that will surround you and shield you from all of these unwanted interactions. Or walk away from the fame and become a smaller, more independent artist. Let the buzz die. Plenty of famous people have walked away from being in the spotlight but continued having smaller, yet still super successful careers. This is why people think you're performative, Chappell. She is not watching this, but let's pretend. We have seen you on camera on numerous occasions despising the lifestyle you have walked into. Walk out then. It's gonna get to a point, if it hasn't already, where the only thing left to say is you are, in a way, choosing this when you literally don't have to. If you don't relinquish the fame, of course people are gonna say you secretly actually love the attention, whether that's true or not. We choose our own demise sometimes. As always, thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it to the end. I'm getting really close to monetizing, so the eyeballs on my videos are greatly appreciated. Check out my other Chappell videos if you so please. Let me know what you think of her down below. I personally think if it keeps going the way it is, we are gonna see another Britney Spears moment before she's even remotely reached the disgusting level of fame Britney did in the 2000s. And it is happening fast. That should tell us she needs to step back. Anyway, that's all for now, and I will catch you in the next one.